الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. Quran Nightly, inshallah, in tonight's Taraweeh, we will be covering the 14th and 15th Juz of the Holy Quran. We will complete Surah Al-Nahl, Surah Al-Isra, and most of Surah Al-Kahf. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-Nahl reminds us, إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَأْمُرُ بِالْعَدْلِ وَالْإِحْسَانِ وَإِيتَاءِ ذِي الْقُرْبَى وَيَنْهَى عَنِ الْفَحْشَاءِ وَالْمُنكَرِ وَالْبَغْيِ يَعِظُكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَذَكَّرُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala orders justice and good conduct and giving to relatives and forbids from immorality and bad conduct and oppression. He admonishes you that perhaps you will be reminded. This verse is one of the most comprehensive when it comes to dealing with right and wrong in all facets of life, individual and collective, both social and domestic. These three things are ordered by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that we do them at all times. Justice, have good behavior, and give charity, and to stay away from obscenity, injustice, and oppression. All three of these things, avoid them all the time. Likewise, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, مَنْ عَمِلَ صَالِحًا مِّن ذَكَرٍ أَوْ أُنْثَى وَهُوَ مُؤْمِنٌ فَلَنُحْيِيَنَّهُ حَيَاةً طَيِّبَةً وَلَنَجْزِيَنَّهُمْ أَجْرَهُم بِأَحْسَنِ مَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. Whoever does righteousness, whether male or female, while he is a believer, we will surely cause him to have a good life, and we will surely give them their reward in the hereafter according to the best of what they used to do. This verse declares essential equality between men and women, and though each may have separate endeavors in life, both of them have an equal opportunity to establish their status and position with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A good life here means one that is pure and that is lawful, and one that is satisfying and happy, and they are subservient and submissive to their Lord, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Satisfaction here means that they are satisfied in aspects of what their Lord gives to them, and they don't complain and whine. This is the quality of qana'ah, which is very important, and they are very submissive to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is called hayatan tayyibah. ادع إلى سبيل ربك بالحكمة والموعظة الحسنة وجادلهم بالتي هي أحسن إن ربك هو أعلم بمن ضل عن سبيله وهو أعلم بالمهتدين. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He reminds us here, invite to the way of your Lord with wisdom and good instruction, and argue with them in the way that is best. Indeed, your Lord is knowing of who has strayed from His way, and He is knowledgeable of who is rightly guided. So this verse, it gives guidelines to those who invite towards Islam to carry out their instruction and the message with wisdom and in the best of manners. Whether debating with non-Muslims, it must be done in a beautiful way and with wisdom. Intellectual strength of arguments should be presented. Good counsel and instruction means to speak with sincerity, kindness, and compassion. It should be done in such a way that any open-minded person would understand him to be a well-wisher. This is extremely important. And he should never engage in bad behavior with stubborn opponents and those who provoke trouble. And this should be a quality of all of those du'at ila Islam, those who call towards Islam. Likewise, we come upon Surah Al-Isra, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, سبحان الذي أسرى بعبده ليلا من المسجد الحرام إلى المسجد الأقصى الذي باركنا حوله لنريه من آياتنا إنه هو السميع البصير. Exalted is He who took His servant by night from Masjid al-Haram to Masjid al-Aqsa. whose surroundings we have blessed, to show him our signs. Indeed, he is the hearing, the seeing. We all know the importance of Masjid al-Aqsa, and it becomes evident when the Prophet ﷺ went there first instead of directly going to the heavens. The miraculous journey or night journey of the Prophet ﷺ from Mecca to Darussalam, Jerusalem, is known as Isra. And then from there to the heavens, that is known as Al-Mi'raj, or Ascension. This is mentioned in some of the tafasir and some details in Surah An-Najm. Here, during Mi'raj, Allah's Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam received the commands of the 5 daily prayers. It took place near the end of the Meccan period, indicating the new era of Islam and the state of Medina. Therefore, it commands about having a collective life and living in unison with one another in this chapter. And many domestic and social matters are also covered. One of those things, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives command, وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا إِمَّا يَبْلُغَنَّ عِندَكَ الْكِبَرَ أَحَدُهُمَا أَوْ كِلَاهُمَا فَلَا تَقُل لَّهُمَا أُفٍّ وَلَا تَنْهَرْهُمَا وَقُل لَّهُمَا قَوْلًا كَرِيمًا. The command about our parents. And your Lord has decreed that you do not worship anyone except Him, and to parents, to deal with them with the best treatment possible. Whether one or both of them reach old age with you, say not to them as much as uff, and do not repel them, but speak to them a noble word. The standard of kindness to the parents is so high that the word ihsan is being used here, and we can never be complacent about it and think that we have done all that we should have done for them. They deserve only the best treatment, al-ihsan, nothing less. To make up for any shortcomings, we should continuously pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as the verse has indicated, رَبِّ ارْحَمْهُمَا كَمَا رَبَّيَانِي صَغِيرًا. Even if they are non-believers, they must be treated well while maintaining subservience to the rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for His rights can never be forsaken because of them or because of anyone. وَآتِ ذَا الْقُرْبَى حَقَّهُ وَالْمِسْكِينَ وَابْنَ السَّبِيلِ وَلَا تُبَذِّرْ تَبْذِيرًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and give to the relative his right, and also to the poor, and also to the traveler, and do not spend wastefully. Here, the word tabdhir has been used, and there are 2 words in regards to wealth, tabdhir and israf. Tabdhir means to spend where one should not spend, tabdhir, in a wasteful manner. And israf means to spend extravagantly and on something that is permissible. So tabdhir means to spend where one should not spend, meaning somewhere prohibited. And israf is spending in a place where it's permissible but extravagantly. They are the brothers of Satan, since he is ungrateful of the bounties and the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Tabdhir and israf, both of these should be avoided so that we are not like the shayateen who are ungrateful of the bounties of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Likewise, we come upon the verse, وَلَا تَقْتُلُوا أَوْلَادَكُمْ خَشْيَةَ إِمْلَاقٍ نَحْنُ نَرْزُقُهُمْ وَإِيَّاكُمْ إِنَّ قَتْلَهُمْ كَانَ خِطْئًا كَبِيرًا وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا الزِّنَا إِنَّهُ كَانَ فَاحِشَةً وَسَاءَ سَبِيلًا وَلَا تَقْتُلُوا النَّفْسَ الَّتِي حَرَّمَ اللَّهُ إِلَّا بِالْحَقِّ وَمَنْ قُتِلَ مَظْلُومًا فَقَدْ جَعَلْنَا لِوَلِيِّهِ سُلْطَانًا فَلَا يُسْرِفْ فِي الْقَتْلِ إِنَّهُ كَانَ مَنْصُورًا. The verse reminds us, do not kill your children for fear of poverty. We provide for them and for you. Indeed, their killing is a great sin. Likewise, and do not approach fornication or adultery. Indeed, it is immoral an act that is evil and an evil way. And do not kill the soul which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has forbidden, except by right. And whoever is killed unjustly, we have given his heir authority, but let him not exceed limits in the matter of taking life. Indeed, he has been supported by the law. ولا تقف ما ليس لك به علم إن السمع والبصر والفؤاد كل أولئك كان عنه مسؤولا. Likewise, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and do not pursue that of which you have no knowledge. Indeed, the hearing, the sight, and the heart, about all of these they will be questioned on the Day of Judgment. ولا تمشي في الأرض مرحا إنك لن تخرق الأرض ولن تبلغ الجبال طولا. Likewise, and do not walk on the earth arrogantly, exultantly. Indeed, you will never tear the earth apart with your footsteps, and you will never reach the mountains in height. Avoid arrogance and conceit. Finally, in Surah Al-Kahf, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in this surah, a hadith, it tells us to memorize the first 10 verses of this surah to be protected from Dajjal. It is also mentioned that whoever recites this surah on Friday, his face will shine until the next Friday. This surah talks about impermanency of this world and its transient nature, and how materialism and worldly love are tests for humans. There's the story of the youth in the cave and the story of the gardeners that relates that we should never underestimate the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you think that what these youth have done, that these youth, they came and they had faith that was unprecedented, and they had to go against this powerful ruler and king, and they stayed apart from that king and apart from society, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put them to sleep for 300 some odd years, and then He protected their faith. And likewise, there's also the story of a rich gardener who underestimated the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because of his material fortitude and lush gardens. He said, "This is never going away," as compared to the poor gardener with less and nothing. Uh, he knew that without Allah, all of these things would perish in seconds. And then there's a story of Musa alayhi salam when he goes to learn from Khidr alayhi salatu wasalam. Likewise, about the story of Dhul Qarnayn, who goes around the world and to both travel and make 3 stops in that journey. They both try to solve problems, Musa alayhi salam and Khidr, and likewise Dhul Qarnayn, and they stop those problems on the way. Both want to establish justice on earth, but one is told to listen and the other implements what he sees. It brings us back to the point that whether you have material wealth or not, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is overseeing every situation and wants us to rely on Him and not on material power and wealth itself. And remember, Dajjal will bring us all under a great test through his fake power and his fitna that he will bring. But Surah Al-Kahf, inshallah, for those who recite it and understand it, inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will protect them and their faith and those, their families and their children. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us all tawfiq to recite and to uh, practice the Quran Majid and make us come onto the right path, الصراط المستقيم. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.